Hey everybody, it's Deb with Deb's RV Services and welcome to today's video. Today is part 3 in my video series on how to not buy a lemon. If you haven't watched the other 2 videos, please be sure to check them out. So in this third installment, we are going to tie everything together. In the first video, we talked about the right RV for your lifestyle. In the second video, we talked about what to look for with RVs and what to watch out for. In this video, we're tying it all together and I'm going to give you some real life case scenarios on some recent inspections that I've done. So let's get into it. In video number 1, where we talked about matching your RV to the lifestyle, I want you to keep remembering that you want to get something that fits the type of camping that you plan on doing. If you're going to be a full-timer and go from RV park to RV park, then you would be fine for a certain type of RV. It doesn't matter if you have a tankless water heater. It doesn't matter if you have a 12-volt or residential refrigerator. You can be hooked up to electricity no matter where you go. And just to give you an example, I recently did an inspection for my father, and he got a beautiful Grand Design fifth wheel, and I looked it over, and almost everything looked really good. There was one thing that was going on with the slide that they needed to correct, but otherwise it looked really good. And one of the things that I noticed when I was looking at the manual on the tankless water heater, he has a Furrion, and in those directions, it did state that they did not test it above 4,500 feet in elevation. So what that's telling me is that if my dad planned on taking that RV to Colorado and was even just in Denver at 5,000 feet, there is a chance that that water heater might not work like it should. You want to look in your manufacturer's book and find out what type of tankless water heater it has and if it works above elevation, because there are some cases where they haven't tested it, and the Furrion is one of them. And there are many other brands, so you want to make sure that you check that out. And my father doesn't boondock, so he's fine. He goes down to Florida, he camps in Michigan, so he's always on hookup, so it's okay with him. If you were a person that had a 12-volt refrigerator and a tankless water heater and you boondocked, you would need to be concerned that you would use up all your water super quick, because it does take a while for that water to heat up. The other thing is that 12-volt refrigerator is going to suck up all that battery power. You would have to have a lot of battery power for it to sustain running for a period of days if you plan to be out there in the desert. So just keep those things in mind when you are looking for the perfect RV for you. For more information on the lifestyle, you want to check out video number 1. In video number 2, we talked more about what to look for when you are inspecting an RV and the quality of an RV. If you are looking for something with the highest quality, you want solid wood cabinetry, you might want solid surface countertops. You are going to look for the highest quality RV out there, but you're also going to pay a premium. If you are looking for something middle of the road, just know that you might have one thing but not the other. Or you might have something like solid surface countertops in the kitchen area, but in the bathroom is where they cut the corners. You just want to look all over the RV, and you can look up in the manual, you can look at the specs of any RV and find out how it's made. You can go directly to that manufacturer's website and you can take a look and see what everything's made out of. And in video number 2, I go into some of the different types of components, different types of slide systems and all that. So if you want to check more on that, you can go to that video and watch it. So now we're going to bring it all together and let's go into my first case study. I recently did an inspection on a Tiffin Class A motorhome. Now it was an older motorhome, so it was about 19 to 20 years old. It had had prior owners. My clients hired me to do a consultation walkthrough with them. They wanted me to make sure that this wasn't a lemon and that they were going to get themselves into a money pit. They did the research. They found that the Tiffins are quality. They had solid wood cabinetry. You had quality materials inside the build. So you would assume, well, this is probably really good. It's made well, so it should have stood up to the test of time. But I'm telling you that it all points to how it was maintained. Because what I found in this motorhome was definitely something that my client and his wife did not want to get themselves involved in. This was a complete money pit. What I found, even though the roof looked sealed, I still found water intrusion. So when I went on the inside, first of all, water intrusion was clearly coming in and it was active water through the passenger window. On the floor and the carpeting, my hand got completely soaking wet, and as I put my hand all around the area because it looked stained, I noticed that it was all active moisture. And there was a little cabinet there that I couldn't see inside of, so it was probably all rotted underneath that area. The other thing is this motorhome had 4 slides, and even though it had good quality through frame slides that worked really well, coming in and coming out, there was water intrusion underneath on the floor of it. There was rot in 3 out of the 4 slides. One of the slides had a complete alignment issue that needed to be adjusted. The other slide wasn't sealing from the interior correctly, so that bulb seal wasn't reaching the back wall, and it's supposed to close about 50%. So it was at the top, but not at the bottom. So that needed to be adjusted. I found many other places where water had gotten in previously. I was looking below the washer and dryer, and I noticed that there was a lot of water staining, wood rot, and then when I opened the cabinet there, I noticed it way beyond in the back as well. So there were many places where water had gotten in. I also noticed that I couldn't even access the generator compartment because that was stuck closed and the pulley handle didn't work right. The other issue was the converter did not work correctly and charge the batteries. So the batteries were at a charge that were as if it was without shore power. It was at 12.7. And the owner had a battery charger on the batteries. And then he told me, yeah, I can't get the batteries to charge when I have it plugged into shore power. So I checked all that out, and the converter was not working properly to charge the batteries. So that's a big issue, and that's an electrical issue that you would possibly have to have the converter changed. So these were all areas, and my client was under a certain budget. He did not want to spend, he already knew that he was going to have to buy brand new tires for this thing because the tires were outdated. And the owners before him revealed at the end that they had paid a high price for this motorhome, and they really didn't use it. So they marked a lot off so that they could sell it. But my client had a budget. They didn't want to spend more than about $10,000 for repairs. Well, after the tires alone and everything else I found, they would have been well over the $10,000 mark. And when you're talking about rot, you don't know everything that's behind that until you open it up. So even though I saw the moisture on the floor and I saw some rotted areas underneath a window, and there was another window that had prior water leak, until you open that area up, you don't know how far the water damage spread. And if that window seal is not sealing correctly, now you're talking about removing the window and resealing it, which is another cost. So my clients would have been well over their $10,000 and what their budget was to repair this RV. The owners got very upset when he decided not to buy it. He and his wife had decided against buying it, and they got really upset. And right in front of me visibly, they said, we priced this so that when we sold it, you could handle all the upgrades and anything you needed to do to repair this RV. And I didn't take that personally because I know that she's probably upset and angry because she didn't get an inspection and she way overpaid for this motorhome. I mean, way overpaid. So my point in telling the story is that you can get the most quality RV out there, and if it wasn't properly maintained, then you're still getting a lemon. In the second scenario, my client hired me to inspect a used motorhome that had a manufacturer of Forest River. So sometimes Forest River doesn't have the best reputation. This was a Berkshire Class A motorhome, and I went out there to do the inspection, and it was in really great condition. So the prior owner let me know right away that the air conditioner, the front AC wasn't working properly, and there was a problem with the compressor. So I noted that, and other things I found were very minimal. What I noticed about this inspection was that the owner of it understood how to fix things. He was really handy, and he maintained that thing. He really loved the motorhome, so he took care of it really well. He was simply selling it because he needed the money. He had lost his job, and he was in a situation that caused him to get rid of his toys. So he needed to sell this, and he really didn't want to. He really loved it, and you can tell because he took care of it so well. So other things that I found were very minimal. The tires needed to be replaced soon. If not this year, then maybe the next year. They were right at 5 years old. And so I usually recommend that people go get it investigated by a tire specialist, because they can really look and see if the tire is in need to be replaced when it's right at that 5-year mark. So other things were just really minimal. What really stood out about this inspection was how well the owner took care of it. He showed me records of when he got oil changes. He demonstrated how things work. He demonstrated on the things that he has fixed in the past or what he worked on. He took care of it and he nellied over it. So it was really important for me to see that from the prior owner. It really helped me feel more confident and at ease about telling my current client that this motorhome had been taken care of and they were not getting into a lemon situation. They would not be soaking thousands and thousands of dollars into something, into a project. The third scenario is a newer used fifth wheel that I inspected at a dealership. And when I went through the whole RV, I noticed that the dealership had probably been the ones to seal the roof. They patched over top of existing sealant. The problem with it is they missed some spots at the rear cap of it. So if I would not have pointed that out, there could have been water intrusion that got in there at a later time. And they put the sealant right over the top and some of it just peeled right off. So I pointed that out to have them redo that sealant. The other thing that I found was that the slide needed to be adjusted. There was a big gap at the slide, and so it wasn't compressing the way it should, and you could see the gap there, so it needed to be adjusted. One of the things that I wanted to show you, and while I was doing this inspection, I was actually thinking about you guys during this because I wanted to show you some of the things that I look at. And some of the windows in these RVs are the type of windows that open like awning style. So you're only going to get like, I don't know, a couple 2 to 3 inches of window space when you open it. Or you can have other windows like what I have in my lazy days that pull open. It's not an awning style, so as soon as rain comes down, I have to close the window because rain will get in. Or I could just get awnings for my windows and solve that problem. But do you want a lot of airflow, or are you okay with a little bit of airflow with that type of window style? You have to look at these types of things. So when I was looking at the RVs recently during my inspections, I really wanted to pay attention to things I wanted to point out to you, because they're not things that you always think about when you walk into either a dealership or a private residence of somebody selling their RV. You look at it and you think, wow, this looks gorgeous. I love the layout of this. It's perfect. But you're not looking at the details like tankless water heater, 12-volt refrigerator, residential refrigerator, gas appliances versus all electric, and what type of systems do I need to run those? But then windows. Are your windows the type that slide open where you get tons of cross breeze ventilation? Or do you have barely any windows, or windows that only open 3 inches? I want you to think about all those things because they really are important. A lot of times you get into your first RV and you realize all the things that you didn't realize. Like the other thing too, when you're stopped along the side of a road, and I've talked about this before, but I'm going to say it again. When you're stopped along at a rest stop and you want to go use the bathroom in either your towable or your motorhome, whatever it is, and you have those slides closed, can you access that bathroom? Or can you go make a sandwich? Can you get into the fridge? Can you get into the spots that you need to when you pull over on the side of the road? Or if you go to a rest stop, you can use their bathroom. But I prefer to use my own. No matter where I go, I want to use my own. And if you're like me, then you want to make sure that you have access to everything. The last point I'm going to talk about here is the solution to making sure that you do not get a lemon. There are 2 choices for you. The first one is to go to rvhelp.com and find a certified inspector. You can go to that website anywhere in the country and you can get an inspection. Inspections range in prices. It depends on the location, the inspector. Every business has its own rates. Every business has different types of inspections. I myself offer 2 types. I do a checklist consultation, and I also do a premium inspection. The premium is the higher priced, and my checklist consultation is my lower price. Your second choice is to do your own DIY inspection. I have created an inspection workbook for you to download. There are over 80 pages, and there are colorful pictures in there, instructions on how to do an inspection, and the tools that you'll need. This inspection can help guide you through doing your own inspection so that you can make sure that you don't get a lemon. I also, if you sign up for my monthly newsletter, I also have a free checklist. So the checklist is just going to give you the high level of what to inspect. My workbook is going to give you the details on how to inspect each thing. Now, to let you know, I am going to run a Black Friday sale. From November 28th until the 30th, you are going to get my workbook at the lowest price point possible. So if you want to do your own DIY inspection, you can purchase my workbook during the Black Friday sale, and I'll keep reminding you about this to let you know when it is. Don't miss out on this opportunity, and if you have any other comments or questions, please leave them in the link below. And don't buy a lemon, you guys. Either hire an inspector or do it yourself. But please make sure that you don't get yourself in a situation where you're going to have to spend thousands of dollars on a money pit. Have a great week, you guys. I'll see you next week.